Welcome to WebCertain. I'm Gemma Houghton, and today I'm here with Yogeesh Chandra, who's the Executive Vice President of RateGain, a software service for travel and hospitality industry. I'm going to be talking about distribution channels and strategies in the travel industry. Hi Yogeesh, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So what do you think are the most important distribution channels online nowadays for hospitality brands?
It's a simple question, but the answer is not simple.
Yeah.
It's different for different kinds of hotels. Normally, what decides what is important is based on the location of the hotel, the profile of the hotel. Obviously, you have some global channels. You have the Expedias and Booking Holdings have channels, Agoda, and then you have the regional ones, and regional ones are really important. But in the essence of all of this, what is most important is your direct line. Yeah. Whether it is through voice or your website. And then your presence on GDS is important as well. And
that's a kind of widely held view that direct bookings and by making sure you can have those direct connections with customers is very important for a brand. But of course, when there's competition from such big players like Expedia and Booking.com and other players, that's quite a challenge. How can hotel brands kind of break through that noise and make that connection with the customer, excluding those other channels?
I think it is important to understand that OTAs are more like partners, and instead of having the view that they are competition, I think the view should be that what kind of guest is coming from where. If you have a loyal guest, as part of your loyalty program, it doesn't make sense for that guest to come through Booking.com. No. But if platforms like Booking.com can be used to acquire new customers who would have perhaps not been aware of your brand, but came across your hotel because it was merchandised well in the marketplace, and you're able to acquire that, and then through your service, through your recognition, and through your staff's attentiveness, you're able to capture that as one of the personas that would want to be a part of your regular loyalty program. That's the ideal fit.
Yeah. So really, you have to make the most of all the opportunities that are available and explore all the channels that you can access. Like you say, thinking of them as partners is a much better approach. What can you do to build that relationship and ensure that you can get kind of the most out of your partnership with them, that you can get the most visibility on those platforms?
I think before you do that, you need to take a step back and look at every OTA differently. And some of the data that you have from their production, gives you indications of what their own strengths are. So not every OTA would have the same ADR or the same kind of production for you. Not every OTA would end up helping you sell the same type of room. Not every OTA would have the same length of stay for you. So it is important for you to understand which OTA is helping you in which aspect of the business. And another important thing is the booking window. Not every OTA would give you results at the same time. So, there would be OTAs that would be giving you more production 30 days out versus OTAs that would be giving you more production 7 days out. And depending on what your revenue requirements are, you would be able to then look at, if I need help 30 days out because I have a valley period and bookings are not picking up, which OTA should I go to versus which OTA should I go to if I need to strengthen my area.
Yeah, so it's very important to spend time really looking into all the options, working out what it is you want to achieve and how the best way to do that.
And your connectivity technology platforms, they really help because they are aggregators of data, and that data can help you make smart decisions. Not all of this could be made on gut feel. I think we are past that stage. But there is so much data being generated, and it is just a question of reaching out to your technology platforms, the ones that are helping you manage these distribution platforms, so your channel managers, your CRSs, and just seek their guidance in terms of, how the data is playing out, and not just for your hotel. They obviously have aggregation for your region, for your city, and they would be able to give you a lot more information that you can leverage.
Yeah, so you need to look beyond your own data and really look at what's happening in the industry in the particular area that you are in order to understand the bigger picture. So when you're working with multiple channels like this, there's quite many different ways that customers can come and that purchases can be made. What are some of the best ways to kind of measure performance and to be able to make ongoing decisions on where to invest most money and most effort?
I think there are two parts to this. On the brand side, there are obviously things that you need to do more in line with the kind of market segments that you're trying to attract. So if it is family, make sure that your brand site has a section for family. You have got pictures that are that the potential visitor is able to resonate with.
Yep.
And you've got offers, you've got room types, merchandise, the pictures of the room, they show and make the person who's making the booking on behalf of a family to feel that they would have a comfortable stay. On the OTA side, it is important that once again your content, the description, and some of the reviews that you gather from the OTAs are a great source of information to get unofficial feedback. The feedback then can help you, fine tune your pitch, the way you present a hotel. If you are next to a very important convention center and a lot of people are bringing that up, I think it is important that you write that as part of your content's description as well. And then the final thing is there are some conversion tools that kind of reinforce the final message that help with conversion, and you use some of that as well to make sure, for an example, if your hotel has a great location, unless somebody goes to TripAdvisor, they would not know that possibly it is a very good location located in the area of the nice bars and restaurants and areas of tourist interest. But if you have a widget online that is able to talk about that, then it kind of re-emphasizes what is unique about your hotel and why should one book one over the other. Yeah,
you need to make the most of all the benefits you offer, all your selling points, and really sell yourself and your experience to the customer.
I think it is really important, and then there are two kinds of hoteliers as such: the ones that are early adopters of new technology and the ones that are kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
And there is so much of new technology happening, and there is so much of disruption happening. I think the key is to be able to get your hands on data and have a very clear data strategy, and then have a visualization module. And these are new roles. These are roles that are evolving. Earlier hotel was something that was very operation centric, and as long as you would be able to make the stay comfortable, it would be fine. But nowadays it is about how do you make that stay even better by the kind of insights that you have, and you don't need to make a mistake to be able to fix that. You need to look at the data and understand and preempt that. And that's where having a data warehouse to be able to pull up the right kind of data to make strategic business decisions. Earlier budgets were being made because budgets had to be made. Now budget can be made in a very qualified manner by a lot of what is out there, what happened 5 years ago versus what happened a year ago, and then modelize all of that and then come out with the right kind of insights.
That can be a challenge potentially for smaller hotels or smaller chains or independent hotels that maybe don't have the infrastructure, they don't have the kind of huge teams working there that have got the time and the resources to look into all of this data and really take the broader picture. Are they going to be at a big disadvantage to bigger brands who've got more resources, or are there ways that they can still utilize these technologies and this insight without having to spend so much resource on it?
That's a very good question, and it's a very valid question. And firstly, there are products in the market that kind of help them. But more importantly, whatever is your strength today can also act as your weakness, and vice versa. So large hotels have obviously got a lot of strength. They have data, they have insights, they've got campaigns set up, and their collaboration in the industry is at a different level. But when you are unique, when you're independent, you have your advantages as well. I think it is important to understand your loyalty ratio, then look at what percentage of your guests are coming again or repeat guests, what attributes come, and that's where hiring the right kind of talent, which is kind of overlooked. If you're an independent hotel, and it is challenging. I'm not trying to give you a simple answer. It is quite challenging, because to be able to attract the right kind of talent when you're an independent hotel can be challenging. But you should be after that, because the right kind of talent will ensure that you have the right foundation. And in a lot of cases, you have software as a service available, which is on cloud, and that kind of brings a lot of these technologies and makes it affordable for an independent hotel as well. And the good thing is that these SaaS companies, they are made up of a lot of subject matter experts, so you should leverage that. You have this as one of the biggest advantages that you have, because they have insights on the larger city picture or the regional picture, and they can provide you a lot of guidance. And it's the relationship that you need to nurture with the technology company, and that can really take you forward.
And what would be your kind of 1 or 2 final tips of the most important things for hotels to be thinking about in the coming year, and the areas in which they should focus to see the biggest return and the biggest success?
So there are, I would categorize them into 2 sets. One is what you could immediately do, which is a lot more tactical, and going back to basics of right content, right representation and all of that, to ensure availability and availability of your rooms and the right rates. The rate parity, I think it is very important, and rate parity sometimes gets overlooked, but I call it very fundamental. I call it, it's as basic as like brushing your teeth. Because no matter what kind of marketing you do, ultimately the traffic is going to come to your site. But if your rates are not the best, then the conversion would not happen. So on the tactical side, you have to police rate parity and ensure that your site is putting the best foot forward. But long term, I think on the OTA side and the third party partnerships that you have, it is important to continuously review them and revisit them and see what is working, what is not. If you have a site partnered with that is producing less for you but is charging a higher commission versus a site that is producing a lot for you but is charging a lower commission, it's unfair, right? So you need to revisit that and have that conversation on. We live in a time of collaboration, so it is really important that you talk to your partners, you talk to your technology partners, you hire the best talent and let them collaborate. And then there are a lot of things that are again breakthrough, and one has to stay on top of new technology. A lot of search is turning towards voice. Is your booking engine capable of doing that? Is your booking engine even in the roadmap, after that kind of technology capability?
So you really have to be thinking ahead all the time as to what's coming next, and are you able to?
You have to in terms of hospitality, but the good thing is, again, we are in a very social world today. So if retail is doing something and you're able to bring that in, I mean, the concept of NPS, ages ago in hotels used to track survey through a GSTS system, and now all of that is being replaced by NPS, and NPS is a global phenomenon. Any company which is customer centric wants to drive NPS. Hotels are no different. So in a lot of cases, it is important that you are innovative and creative in terms of bringing things from outside and contextualizing them to hotels, and that can really make you a leader and also make you unique in terms of the talent that you have, and for them to feel excited that they are working at the right place, and also for your guests to have the best kind of experience.
So it's a challenging but exciting time to be in the hospitality industry right now.
It always is, and it'll always be. And this whole drive of direct bookings and how you play to your strengths is the key here. But direct bookings is something which is going to help the hotel in drive great margins, and ultimately with margins is when you think, oh, my business is going to be scalable. So all of this starts with very small building blocks, but then it becomes large, and that's what you want. We are all after growth.
Well, thanks for sharing some really interesting insights there. It was good to talk to you today.
Likewise. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you.